CharMargolis, Char Communications Incorporated, and CharVision LLC do not endorse or offer for any purpose but entertainment the views of any guest or other expert on CharVision or UBN.
I knew things before they happened from the time I was a child. At the age of 8, I saw a spirit at the foot of my bed and didn't know what it was. And in my 20s, I finally realized I had a special ability that could help others. I have learned that love never dies. There is a spirit world that can communicate with us, and we all have the gift of intuition. Join me, and together we will explore the possibilities of the unknown from beyond and more. This is CharVision. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, good, because the other day I was muted and I didn't know I was muted. I'm talking away. How's everybody? It's December 11th, 2020. And Sonny, as soon as Sonny hears Tony's voice on the Zoom, he comes running over. It is the cutest thing ever. It just tickles me. So, how was your week?
My week was great. You know,
Yeah,
it was my birthday at the beginning of the week.
Oh my God, Tony, I totally blew it.
I waited by the phone all day long, but no, just kidding.
Oh my God, Tony, happy birthday.
Thank you.
I don't think I had it in my calendar. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's just, I turned 51. It wasn't a big milestone, but I turned 51 and I had a great, well, I worked all day, but Will and I the next day went and had a great day together. So.
Oh, good. Well, we're going to have to make up for it when COVID goes away.
All right. I need some sunny licks and a Char hug.
Yeah, well, God, how could I forget your birthday? Oh, I feel terrible.
Anyway, it's COVID memory right now. Everybody's so mixed up with times and stuff. So.
Well, it's crazy. So. I'm glad you had a good week.
Thank you. I did.
I'm glad you had a good celebration.
And this is a good way to end the week, is being with Char and Sunny.
Oh, thank you. Well, happy belated birthday. Hope all your wishes come true. So, okay. So tonight we want people to call in. Have you ever had a near-death experience or been pronounced dead and then brought back to life? And how did it affect your psychic intuition ability? That's what I want to know, because people change after they have a near-death experience. They change, or they're supposed to. And not everybody has a great experience when they have a near-death experience. Did you know that, Tony?
I have heard a couple people saying they did not have a great experience.
You know, yes. When I was on Dr. Oz a few years ago, they had the first half of the show were people who had near-death experiences. So one woman was in Lake Michigan and she was drowning, and then she heard her husband's voice and praying for her, and she decided she didn't want to go to heaven. But she could have gone to heaven because there were positive energies wanting her to, angels and loved ones from the other side. So she decided to come back to Earth to be with her fiance husband, or they just got married or something like that. There was one man who was either agnostic or atheist, and he had a near-death experience and he was pronounced dead on the by the doctors. He was in horrible pain. He smelled garbage and sulfur and all kinds of crap. And for the first time in his life, he called on God, and wow. Jesus came to him.
Wow.
And he said, I will send you back to Earth, but you have to live with love and compassion and believe in a higher being and God. And he came back to Earth and he came back in his body, and heart started beating, and he lived the rest of his life, or so far, in a positive way.
Wow.
I also know someone personally who had a near-death experience, who had a similar experience like that, because she wasn't a nice person. And I'm going to write about it in my book. So you got to buy my new book when it comes out, and you'll hear all about it. So there really are different levels in the spirit world. But I would love to hear the beautiful, wonderful experiences where people see their mothers and their fathers and their children and their grandparents, and that euphoric feeling that is, they don't want to come back because it's so amazing over there. And those are the people who live with a clear conscience and goodness and love. So do we have any callers who have had that experience?
We have a few. So
okay,
I'm sure
let's hear it.
I'm sure they're excited to tell you. So we have an 801. 801, you're live on the air.
Hello.
Hi, Char.
How are you?
Good. How are you? I got to turn down my computer so I can hear you. And
computer, please. No worries.
Yeah, I was like going, oh, I can't hear like your end of it. Anyway, how are you? How's Tony?
We are great. Thank you. I am great. Tony?
I'm amazing. Thanks for asking.
Amazing. Thank you for
Good.
asking.
Good. You got to be. Heck, it's like we don't go anywhere. So it's like nothing can really kind of go wrong except for around us.
That's true. Well, you never know. People get toothaches, and you never know what's going to happen.
There's that.
Mm-hmm.
There is that going on.
Refrigerators break, ovens break. Anyway, what was your experience?
I know. Well, I had surgery, and it was a total spine reconstruction. And I had a hard time waking up from the anesthesia. So it took like a long time. And I remember coming into the room where you recover, and I was just in extreme pain to a point where it was unmanageable. I mean, and I wanted pain medicines, to kill the pain, and they would not let me have nothing, just for the fact that would make me go back to sleep. Mm-hmm. And so I just was trying to focus, like in my mind going, okay, they're not going to give me anything. I was grabbing nurses and telling them, let me die. I mean, I'm not a person to just kind of give up that easy, but it was that bad that it was, I'm going to give up, So she goes, I can't do that. I'm here to help you. And so I'm just like going, dang it, it's like, who's going to help me get out of here? It was so bad. And so I just started focusing, like meditating, because just doing something different, it's like, because I thought I've got to go somewhere. If I can't get relief from this pain, I'm going to die. Like, it was that bad. And so I started meditating, imagining myself on the beach. And then all of a sudden, like, the pain started just like it was just going up through my body, and it was disappearing. But I felt like I was not, like I was in a different room. I wasn't, I didn't go above my body or anything, but I think I came out like part way, because they had me strapped down on a flat board, and I looked down kind of towards my legs because I was paralyzed, and I was, it's like, and I'm looking at my legs, and all of a sudden there's like 6, looked like flashing angels. That's what I was, told that they were telepathically, from them, and that they were there to help me, and they were touching my legs to a point where it was sparking, and it kind of hurt, like it's like a sparkler, like a 4th of July sparkler, and how the little sparks come off and they hit you. It was like that. It was so weird. And then all of a sudden the pain was gone while they were doing that. And then they kind of floated up and dissipated. And then the pain came back, and I turned into psychopath lady again, screaming, get me out of here. But it was, so it's like, I think that, that this, I can only take for what it was, and
but wait,
like hoping that it was.
Were you pronounced dead though? No.
No, they never did. They were, I remember doctors working on me and just going like crazy all around me, and they were panicking because I bled, also. And so during the surgery, so I lost a lot of blood. And so I was not in very good condition when I came out. So,
what's your name?
Is Janine.
Hi, Janine. So,
Hi.
okay. So you felt the pain, but then it went away for a little while when the angels
Right.
put energy into you.
Right. And they said that the doctors couldn't help me anymore and they were there to help. And so I, telepathically they were saying that to me. And so I just I calmed down, and everything was gone while they were there. But then when they left, it all came back.
Did you see a white light? Did you see the tunnel? Did you see anything that people
No, just the angels. And, I had a hard time even like when I think, just from that experience, I know I kind of like came out partway because I was able to sit up and look at my feet, which they had me strapped down. There was no possible way that I could have sat up, it's like they had me literally tied down. So, so I remember that, but so I just thought, what is this? And I knew I wasn't hallucinating because I wasn't on any pain meds or drugs or anything because they would not give it to me.
And
so
how long did it take for you to, we have a delay. So if people think I'm talking over you, I'm not. I apologize. We have a delay.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
When did you finally get better?
It took me months to recoup from that. I actually went into a rehabilitation place where they actually abused me and I had not known. And I thought the nurse hit me and just punched me in the eye. And I thought I dreamt it. And then when I woke up, like things were happening weird. They were giving me medications that they weren't supposed to. And a lot of bad things happened. And that's when I asked God, I said, let me please, let me know if this stuff is true that's happening around me. And he says, I just heard a voice say, if you don't call today, you won't be here tomorrow. And I just kind of thought, and I called 911 out of a rehabilitation place and had them get me out of there. And they were going, who hit you in the face? And I was like going, oh my gosh, like that did happen. So a lot of validation came through that, but I was not, I mean, it was so, everything was so just, I know I wasn't in a place where I could be really like things, I had to have people validate whether things were real or not, because I had a really hard time with it because of the situation I was in. But when
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It sounds like you had a mini near-death experience. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And the angels came and you were out of pain.
Right.
Wow. Well,
right. It was, what was that again?
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I so appreciate you calling. Take good care of yourself.
Okay. Thanks, Char. And I appreciate you so much for everything that you've done for my son and my family. And you told me that I was going to be a grandmother, and I had found out like my daughter was pregnant, and I didn't know, and she lost the baby though, but she was pregnant at the time when you gave me that reading, and it was just like in October. So I kind of wanted to validate you on that, because I was like going, okay, who's going to be pregnant? It's like,
is she going to try again?
Yeah, she is. She's going to try again. Yeah, this was kind of a little difficult, but yeah, she's going to try again.
Tell her to not give up.
I will. I definitely will.
God bless you. Happy holidays. Take good care of yourself.
Okay, you too.
Thank you.
Okay, you too, Char.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Okie dokie, Tony.
Right.
It sounds like we have a little delay with the sound.
Uh-oh.
It happens.
It does. Like you said, little squigglies in the universe right now.
A little, yeah. With Tony and I were talking because the electronics didn't work, and he had all this stuff going on, and I had that today with my phones and my clients.
Yeah,
So
my phone's been acting up too.
sometimes there's just little tricksters that try to mess up goodness and positivity, and we don't give them any energy, and we just
Nope.
ignore them.
Ignore them. And so we're not going to ignore 315 though.
Okay. Oh, but Tony, wait, I have to
Oh,
tell you one more thing.
Tell me.
You forgot my birthday too.
August 21st.
It is, but you didn't call me.
I screamed your name out to the universe.
Okay. We're even. We're even.
We're even. Next year.
Next year for sure we're going to celebrate together both. Okay.
We better. All right.
Okay.
3-1.
I celebrate every day with you.
Yes, you do. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
All right. So 315, you're on the air with
Well, hi, Char, Tony, Sonny. Happy
Hi.
birthday. Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yes.
Happy being alive and well.
Happy day. And today was a terrible electronics day, so it's almost behind us, totally.
For you too.
It was. It really was.
It was terrible.
It was terrible. It was the worst probably all year. And you know we've seen things, but it's behind us. Yep.
Good. That's right. That's good. So what's your name?
Char, my name is Fran.
Hello, Fran. Thank you for calling in. Did you have a near-death
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Did you have a near-death?
Yes, I actually have had two, but the one that comes to mind, 1992, I was in a terrible car accident. It left me disabled for 3 years about, and my family doesn't even know the whole story because it's just, why talk about terrible stuff? But long and short, I was in a terrible car accident. My seatbelt failed. I hit the windshield, blah, blah. I was in the road. I was ejected. I was in the road, and I flatlined.
Oh my.
And they had the equipment on me, and which is how I know I flatlined. They had the tape and all the this and that. And so my SA node stopped, and I know I could hear them talking about giving me this atropine or something else. And I heard them talking, and all I see is black. I don't see anything. There's glass everywhere. My eyes are shut. So I don't know that I flatlined other than what they're saying. And they're really rushing to exotic measures. And I hear the...
No, go ahead. But did your body leave? Did you, were you looking over your body or you were in your body?
That's where I'm going. I didn't see except what I could imagine. The interesting thing is now what overtook me was the essence of my grandmother. Just this essence. It was completely her. Second to none. It was her. Wow. And she just was like a broken record. It's okay, you'll be fine. It's okay, you'll be fine. It's okay, you'll be. It was a broken record. I mean, I want to hear my grandma. I want to everything, but it was such a broken record. It was annoying. It's okay, you'll be fine. It's okay, you'll be fine. And there was no white light. It was just like a standstill. Like I said, a broken record. It was just a standstill. And it was completely her. It was beautiful. And then they got me go. Oh, actually, no. I got myself going. So my SA node stopped. They're talking about what to do. And we all have a backup plan, the AV node. So like within a minute, my AV node kicked in and I restarted my own heart.
How do you do that?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's actually, everyone has it. The sinus atrial node is what we go by, and then we have a backup. The atrial node is like a backup generator.
Oh, so it did it by itself.
It did it by itself, and it doesn't work for everybody because, use it or lose it. But it did work for me. That's the whole point of it, is a backup emergency thing. And, there's no knowing that it's going to kick in. So I started my own heart, and it was terrible. I lived with my parents for the next 3 years. We didn't really talk about it because I'm well educated and I should have been working, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. It was terrible. But my grandma, She nailed it. It's okay, you'll be fine. And sure enough, 3 years later, I'll never forget it, in my mom and dad's kitchen. And trust me, there were tough times.
Wow.
In my mom and dad's kitchen, it just hit me like a brick. You're okay now. You're okay now. And it was true.
And
oh my God. And I mean, I was,
I have a question. And you were what? I interrupted you. You were what? You were crying?
Oh, it was terrible. It was everything. But I know, I mean, I was, when I was at their home, which I tried not to be visually terrible, because I don't want to do that. I mean, I would crawl up the stairs. If no one was looking, I would prefer to do, you know, shortcuts. Let's put it that way. But anyway, everything's all better. Everything's all better. And like I said, I had two. Actually, that one was on the record with tape and recordings. That was on the record for real. And it was so fast. Okay. And then the other one, which I won't get into much, but my dog really dealt with it, made me pull my bootstraps up. And that one kicks me in the gut because it just took forever. I couldn't breathe. Something happened. My mom died. Something happened. It was.
You can't leave us in a lurch. What happened? And also,
I know.
Also, when you're done telling us what happened, I want to know how it affected your psychic ability now and your belief in your own intuition and psychic ability.
Oh, it helped me 1,000% because nothing else matters. The deal is heaven. Nothing else matters. Family. Period. So that one was terrible, terrible. And then another time, which I get a little grief from other people because it is what it is. But my mom passed away unexpectedly, and I already had other things going on, and I couldn't even grieve for like a week or two because family was in town and we're dealing with this. My dad took it terrible. He got terribly sick for 2 days. We didn't even know if we should take him to the hospital because that was a no-no. That's where mom got the short end of the stick. It was a no-no, but he just got terribly sick. We're trying to figure out what to do. And anyway, so I couldn't even grieve for like 2 weeks. And then when I finally could, I just lost it. I couldn't breathe. I'm sure I hyperventilated, but it doesn't matter what I did. I couldn't breathe. I ran into the bathroom. I'm hot as could be. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And I'm hot. And I threw my shirt off and I'm hovering over the toilet and I'm trying to, and then I try to activate the gag reflex so I can at least maybe get it going, and nothing worked. And then I dropped to the floor on my knees, and I tried because I knew I was in trouble, and nothing. And then this seemed like forever. It was totally real. It seemed like forever. And it was very painful. And I already have a throat issue anyway. And I just couldn't breathe as much as I tried. And then my little doggy kind of rubbed up on my leg, and I'm just like, oh heck no, I'm the only one in the house, and I'm like, oh heck no one's gonna find me in the bathroom with my shirt off 3 days later, because that's when someone would have been over. It's just not happening. I know. And so she really, I totally credit her to making that
your dog saved
successful.
Your life. So
yes.
Are you more psychic now? Are you more intuitive now? Or you just know that?
I'm completely intuitive to the point where, well, I'll just leave it at that. Completely. I rely on it. I listen to it. I don't second guess. If someone's going to tap me on the shoulder and give me a heads up on something, done. I love it. It's valuable. I love it. I'm completely into, I was no nonsense before, but it's just completely intuitive, and anyway, it's exciting. It's exciting because it helps me.
That is amazing, Fran. I love your story. It's fabulous, and I'm glad you're not in pain anymore. And I'm glad that you're here to help teach us all about what really matters. It's family and love, and and goodness. And that's all that really matters, because we all want to go to a good neighborhood when we leave this place.
Done deal.
Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for calling. Take good care.
Thank you. Only the best. Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye. Wow. Tony, who else do we have? Those are good stories.
Let's see. We have a 732. Let's see. I think it's one, but let's find out. All right, you're live on the air.
Hi. Hi. Hello?
How are you?
Good. You told me to call in, so I called in about my sister.
You were on Facebook and you started to tell the story on Facebook, right?
Yes, about my one. I have a lot of sisters. So this one sister, years ago, when I was like a teenager, she told me this about, she was like, I don't know if she had died or she was very sick, she told me, and she said, I went through this tunnel, and at the end of the tunnel is a light. There was a light, and she goes, and I was going towards the light, and I wanted to go towards the light, and it was beautiful and everything, and this is long ago, say like over 60 years ago. And so then she said, then all of a sudden I was being pulled back, and I didn't want to go back, and I didn't want to go back. And then she said when she woke up, my dad was over her crying, and he, was praying to God that she would live. And, I don't know what she had at the time, but, she had high fever, And I remember back then she was saying, oh, now I know there's God, and, and stuff like that. And, we were all Catholic, and, like my friend, I'm part Jewish, but that had nothing to do with it. But, I was like, like the tunnel, but we're all intuitive in our family, most all my sisters, and, but she's the one that started it, like I said, years ago, but nobody talked about it because you would be considered, back then crazy, but, you're hallucinating, you're what,
Right. People still think they're crazy, or some people think I'm crazy. I don't care what people think. Who cares what people think? Hey, so, okay, so your sister had the experience, not you, right?
Yeah, it was my sister, but she told me, and like I said, I was a teenager. She was like telling all about it, and like, at that time, but you got to believe this God, this heaven, because I went to the.
Do you know if she became more psychic or intuitive after her experience?
But we all, like I said, she was intuitive, a lot of times we can know what's going on. Like she had a son that had brain cancer, and like I would communicate, like I'd have dreams about him and things would come true, and I'd call her and stuff like that. She even said something like, I don't know, she would tell me that she would even deal with the police or something like that about things, seeing things, out of body experiences, stuff like years ago you would think, wacky doodles, but
wait. She helped the police?
That's what she told me. I don't know if, she said she used to do things like, say things and, that it would happen. But I don't know if she actually did, but she was doing something like, I don't know, like not over the phone or something. I don't know. But she said things like that. But I know we were always intuitive. She was always intuitive.
Wow.
Things happen, a lot of strange things.
Thank you for sharing that with us. I so appreciate it. Thank you for calling in.
Oh, thank you, and have a nice weekend, and happy birthday, Tony. And give my little Sunny, give a little hug. Take care, honey.
Okay, take care. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that was a good one too. So, Tony.
Yes, ma'am.
Who else do we have? We need more stories.
All right. See, Deanna, I think. So it's a 415. Bring her on. Go ahead. You're live with Shar and Sunny.
Hi, Deanna.
Hi, dear.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. My name's Deanna, and if it's all right, I'd like to tell a story about my mom who had the near-death experience.
Yes, I'd love to hear that.
Great. Well, so what happened is that my mom's been passed for now about 25 years, but when she was alive in her last 5 years, she was very sick with COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Mm-hmm.
So she had a lot of respiratory illness issues.
Okay.
And probably 2 years before she died, she went into a respiratory arrest situation. she was rushed to the hospital, or she was at the hospital at the time. And what she told me afterwards is that she saw herself being worked on, like she was lifted. Her spirit was lifted up, and she was looking down upon her body and all the doctors and everybody working on her body. And she still felt the pain that she felt at that point. But then a little bit later, she said that she felt lighter and felt the pain leave her, like she lost the ability to feel that pain anymore. And she then went towards the light, as everybody says, but she felt this warm, loving light, and she just moved towards it. And what she described was a sort of tunnel, but it was basically, the way that she explained it to me is not really a tunnel as much as a walkway, where on either side of her were people that knew her.
Wow.
And she basically, she said that she couldn't tell me who they were now, but that she was really happy to see them, and they were welcoming her. And she was going towards the light, which was at the end of their long line of people. And as she was going towards the light, yeah, I know. And she said that she heard music too, but she said she couldn't explain how the music was, because it wasn't anything she had ever had or ever heard before, and she didn't have words to express that kind of music. And she said she heard this kind of yeah, and she said she went towards the light, and she felt so much love surrounding her and warmth, and she was just so happy. She said she'd never been happier in her, in her experience. It was just this wonderful feeling, and she was moving towards it. And in that light, she saw a crab go across the light.
Oh.
And I'm a Cancer.
Oh, wow.
I'm a Cancer. And she said, my daughter Deanna needs me. And bam, she went back into her body.
Oh my God, that's going to make me cry.
And she did not talk to me for 6 weeks after she came out of the hospital. She was very angry with me that I brought her back.
Because all those people that she couldn't say who they were or recognize when she was alive, she knew them when she was in the tunnel, and they were probably guardian angels and spirit guides.
Right. I assume that, because she said that she knew that her memories were that she knew that they were people who loved her and were happy to see her. Wow. And she felt so welcomed, just like, whoa, we're so happy. And she was going past them towards the light, being greeted by them and welcomed. And then she said that when she finally started to, I was calling her and like, Mom, please call me. I know you're back from the hospital. I'm worried about you. And and she was so angry.
It's not funny.
So then when I found out, isn't that funny? And so when she told me why she was angry, I said, well, I know you're angry, but I'm glad you came back.
Of course.
I'm glad you came back, Mom.
Well,
but I will tell you.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, tell me what.
I was just going to say the last bit is before this point, before she did this and she left, she was very worried about dying, and she was very worried about the pain that would happen when she died. And when she came back from this, she was never, ever one moment of worry about it at all.
So
she was ready to go whenever it was.
It took away her
fear. It took
fear.
every bit of fear away. Exactly.
And did she become more intuitive and psychic, and when did she forgive you? when did she forgive you?
She had to, I think she had to, first of all, she had to get better. Well, she was not well to get to a certain point. And then I think at the 6 week point or somewhere around there, it took a while. She just understood that as her daughter, I would want her back, and that I loved her, and I was not ready to let go of her yet.
Of course. And did she become more, So the near-death experience allowed her to have her fear taken away.
Exactly.
And her fear of death.
Mm-hmm. And she was always a very intuitive person, a very empathic person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, it very well, it definitely enhanced all of that, But she had a confidence, of her faith, and she had a confidence that, that everything was going to be okay. Like she just knew
Wow.
that there was something much better, and that she was ready for it. She was ready to go.
It's the ultimate.
She just stayed because of us. Yeah.
It's the ultimate feeling of peace.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, that's really probably what peace really feels like.
The way she described it, I would have to say so. And it's sort of like, people tell you, they always talk about homecoming.
Yeah.
But I really, the way she described it in her face, I wish I could describe her face to you. When she first told me, her face lit up in such joy, in remembering, what she felt, and the homecoming, the kind of just the joy and the love that was surrounding her, the healing that was surrounding her. She just, it was just, so for me, it helped me with my faith. It helped me know that, that it was very true. I believed 100% what she said. She was not a person that, she was not a frivolous person. She was a very, these are the facts. This is reality. Get used to it kind of person.
Wow.
And so I knew she was telling me the truth.
Of course, because she was practical.
Yep. Yes. Very practical.
So we have an ethereal body. We have a physical body, and we have an ethereal body, and our ethereal body is our spirit body. And there's a silver thread that connects our ethereal body to our physical body. And so she literally almost went on like an astral flight, but literally was dead. I guess that's kind of what an astral flight is like too. And looked down and saw her body and them working on her, right?
Well, what happened is, when I'm remembering, when she came back to her body, they had already moved away from her body.
Oh, wow.
Like they were, I'm not sure if they had just walked, turned around and walked, and then they heard her moving. But she said that they were completely thought that she had died. Like they were,
amazing.
Getting things ready to finish things.
So
take her off things and stuff.
So when she finally crossed over, was it easier for you to accept her death?
I would love to say it was, but it wasn't. It took me, we were so very close. It took me a year. And if we have time, I'll tell you the really quick story about that.
Yeah.
When my mom 2 years, she lasted 2 more years. And she really, really, because she knew we needed her at home. We needed her with us. She tried everything to get PICC lines put in so that she could come home instead of having to stay at the hospital, hooked on all the medicines there. And it would take hours for them to put a PICC line in. And it was just torturous, absolutely torturous for her. And my dad and I would be in the hallway of the hospital just crying because we would hear her crying. But she was determined. It was just absolutely horrible. But I, like so many people, I think, when they truly can't let go, I believe that I could make what would you say, a bargain with God that he'd bring her back to me. I would just thought that in my own mind that she, please bring her back. And I knew on one level, of course, that's not possible, but on one level, I just wasn't ready to let her go.
And I had to go in for a what would you call it? Like it was an MRI with a contrast. And they put this line in my arm to put in the ink for the contrast. And they put it into a vein that was not supposed to get anything in it, and it kind of almost exploded the vein.
Oh no.
And it hurt really, really badly, and they pulled it out, and they got another one, and they put that in my other arm. And as I was put into the MRI machine, I had to be very quiet, but I was feeling the pain in my arm that had the almost exploded vein.
Oh.
And it was there that I decided that if I had to have my mom come back and the pain that she was in when she died, it reminded me what she had gone through.
Right.
Then I loved her so much I wouldn't have wanted her to come back like that. And so in that MRI of how many 30 minutes, I was able to finally release and understand that she was in a better place.
Yeah.
And that I wouldn't have wanted her back that way.
That's so unselfish.
So
and I always believe that if we love someone so much, we need to let them go if their bodies have given up.
Yes.
Because it's unselfish. It's an unselfish gesture to let them go. It's hard.
And since but I was young. I had just turned 30, and doesn't feel like it's that young, but it was young for me. She was the first person I really lost.
Of course.
And but I know now. I've been a hospice volunteer for many, many years, and I agree with you.
Well, thank you, Deanna, so much for calling. I love your story. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you for letting me share it.
Of course. I wish you a
happy birthday, Tony, and sending my love.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Love you too.
Real quick before we take probably the last one, but my grandpa did that. My grandpa had a near-death experience.
Oh, well, why didn't you tell me? You're making me sweat it out.
Well, no, it's hearing these other amazing stories kind of brought it to my attention.
I'm teasing Tony. I'm so teasing you.
I know.
Tell me.
Oh yeah, of course. Well,
I love to tease you.
You can tease
so
me.
Tell us about your grandpa.
Well, my grandpa, before I was born in 1969. I think in 1967 he died in the hospital, and he said he saw this. Like you said, this was before all the TV shows and the books and stuff, and he was a minister and a business owner, all that stuff. But he said he saw a bright light, walked through the light, and came out into an open field.
Wow.
And he said it was beautiful, just beautiful. And there was a river, and his mother was on the other side of the river.
Wow.
And she said, Floyd, which is his name, says, "Not your time. And so you must go back." And so he said, "I really didn't want to come back, but he said, I heard my grandma, his wife, call his name. So he ended up waking up in the hospital, blah, blah, blah." But he lived another about 13 years. And from the stories I've heard before his death until the story that the man that I knew, he did change his personality, of course.
How?
He changed. I mean, he was always a good man, but he was just more of a giving man, fair person, and he always treated everybody. If somebody was without something in town or by themselves, they were always at the Christmas or Thanksgiving. He would always make sure somebody was never alone and never went without. That was my grandpa. But
that's so beautiful.
But I remember he ended up getting lung cancer, because he smoked like 5 packs of cigarettes a day. But I remember when we were in my dad's grocery store, and he said, "Tony, I'm going into the hospital. I'm not coming back. I just want you to know that, I love you and to be a good boy." But he was so confident about it. It was not like scared. It was not like So, but I think it did change him. I don't know about the psychic part of it, but
Right.
I think, that's the only person I really knew before.
When he first had the near-death experience, what caused it? Do you know?
He got really ill. I'm not for sure what he had before, but my dad and all of them said that they pronounced him dead, and then he came back to life, or after this. But
wow.
But yeah, so I think it does change people, and if it doesn't, I'm trying to think of his name that died like 2 or 3 times because he said apparently I didn't take the first 2 times. I'm trying to think of his name.
Oh, was it Raymond Moody? No,
Daniel Brinkley. Daniel.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Right,
but
right.
it's just funny how sometimes it takes a few times.
Wow, that's a great story, Tony. And I love that you brought your grandpa in. That's so great.
I loved my grandpa. He was an amazing guy. All right, well, we have time probably for one more, and it's a 401 number.
Which number?
401.
401.
I think it's
Hello.
Bernie.
Hello.
I love that you brought your grandpa.
Oh, there
Hello.
Hi, can you turn your phone, your TV, your computer down? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. We really look forward to Friday nights now because of CharVision.
Bernie! It's Bernie!
Yeah.
Hi, Bernie!
Yeah. Hi, Char. I got your book ordered through the library. I'm going to get it soon.
Oh, it's so nice to talk to you, Bernie. Do you have a near-death experience?
Yeah, back when I was 21, my roommate was a Teamster president. He was on the board of directors of the Boys Club in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Uh-huh.
And they had a fundraiser, Las Vegas night. And I pulled up out front. I see him come out the front door, and he looks real angry. He goes into this bar room, and I follow him in. And it turns out somebody stole $20 from this Las Vegas night, and he's chasing the guy. So we end up in this big fight.
Oh my.
5 people get stabbed with one knife. It was horrific. And we end up at Cambridge City Hospital, and I'm stabbed in the leg, and he's stabbed in the heart. And I kind of pass out for a bit, and all of a sudden, I'm back at the scene, and he's approaching me, and we're in this white light, and he's dressed in his favorite clothes, the Jordache jeans, the sneakers with no socks, the leather jacket, whatever, and he's looking at me with his eyes all bright, and he's smiling, and he's talking to me with his eyes, like he's saying everything's going to be all right. I'm good. You're going to be good. I'm getting all this like mentally. And then he turns around and starts walking towards Leechmere's. And the cops come back in my room and they say, your buddy just kicked the bucket. You want to talk now?
Oh.
And yeah.
But you saw the white light.
Oh yeah, we were in the light. And, after that.
Wait. 2 of you together were in the white light. You thought he was too, right?
Yeah, he was coming towards me. He was dressed all in his favorite clothes.
And then he died.
He was already dead. He was in the next room. He had passed away, and he came in my room and gave me this vision before they came in and told me that he had passed away.
But were you proclaimed dead as well, or no?
Oh, no, I was stabbed in the leg. They just missed my artery, but half an inch, and so I was wounded, but I wasn't.
You had a visitation from him and he came into the next room.
Right.
Wow.
So I was gone before they came in the room. He was already in my room.
Wow. Well, Bernie.
And then after that,
go ahead.
I had a couple more visits after that, like a couple of my friends. It was my wild days, and I knew some wild people, and a couple of them passed away, and I was half asleep, and they squatted next to my bed, and they said, hey, what's up, Big Bird, and poked me in the side 3 times. So I had visitations after that.
Well, Bernie, I love your stories, and I'm so grateful that you and your wife listen. We've got to go because I want to say one more thing before I leave you guys. Today. So, Bernie, thank you so much for calling. I wish you a wonderful holiday and a healthy, happy new year. And keep calling in. We love you.
Yeah, we love you too. Bye.
Bye-bye. So everybody, I want to read something to you before I leave. You ready? So the top 8 deadliest days in the United States history, okay? In the United States history, the top 8 deadliest days. 1 was Galveston hurricane, 8,000 people. The next one was Antietam. I don't know how to say it. Antietam. I think that's how you say it. 3,600 people. 9/11, 2,977 people. Now, these are the top 8 deadliest days in the United States. Last Monday, last Tuesday, last Wednesday, and yesterday, 3,100 people from COVID. Please wear your masks and have everybody else wear their masks. Please. Take care of yourselves. God bless you. And remember, intuition will take you places logic never could. Take good care. See you Friday.